Breaking news, we have an update on Kyrie Irving's injury and on Franz Wagner as well. We're going to talk all about that here on the channel. My name is Donnie Freeman here on the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe as 80% of viewers haven't yet, and they're absolutely missing out on the content Trevor and I put out on a daily basis here, assuming that there's news because it's been pretty dry. But we're going to talk about this here today. Let me know your thoughts on all of this, and let's get into it. So, Dallas Mavericks star Kyrie Irving will miss the season to allow himself additional time to fully heal from the torn ACL he suffered last March. Irving will make his return for the 26-27 season. Irving's agent tells ESPN this is about Kyrie being 1,000% when he comes back and giving himself the best chance to chase a championship next season. So a couple of things at play here. So Kyrie Irving is he's been a great mentor to Cooper. I've seen him a lot of times just, hyping up Cooper, all these things, especially in the offseason, early season, etc., kind of just taking him under his wing. And I really do appreciate that. Kyrie's a great dude, man. In all seriousness, I enjoy Kyrie a lot. Always been one of my favorite players. And at this point, I think for him, he needs to just get healthy for himself, obviously. So if they're like, hey, you need extra time, take all the time you need. That ultimately is probably the best decision, because that plus the offseason will give him more time again to recoup and come back ideally healthier, stronger, etc. But I'm not going to act like this isn't, incentivized or motivated, right? Dallas is trying to lose games right now, right? Dallas is currently 19-35, 9-game losing streak, right? Things like that. They are trying to lose games right now. They've also had Cooper be out recently a bit. I think I saw him walking with a boot. Nothing serious, but I did see that as well. They probably are going to let him sit for a couple extra games if they can, just little things like that, because they're trying to get the best draft pick possible this season. And so if we look at the current toughest, hardest schedules remaining, Dallas is right in the middle of the pack at 14. So they still have some really tough matchups left. So there are going to be some easy opportunities for them to tank. OKC, San Antonio, Boston, Denver, a couple of games against the Cavaliers. They haven't played them yet, I see. And then the Lakers are in there as well. And they've played a lot of their easier matchup opponents as well, too. But the tank race is absolutely heating up, because a lot of the teams are also looking at it like, hey, how can we bottom out? Because this is a good draft. And unfortunately, when there's a good draft and you have your draft pick, which is the situation this year, again, you are incentivized to tank and bottom out. We talked about that recently on the channel. I've been seeing more people talking about that. Funny enough, I had a little throwaway idea in there that they should just do away with the draft and make these guys free agents. But then I was like, that probably wouldn't be great for, small markets. I saw Adam Silver talking about that. Now people are talking about that idea recently. So I don't know if we're actually going to go that way. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. But ultimately, right now we do have teams trying to bottom out. And if we sim the lottery right now, Dallas is most likely going to end up in the 6, 7, 8 range, right? So let's just go ahead and cringe, I know. Oh, wow. They got number 1 this time. Could you imagine Dallas getting number 1 again 2 consecutive years? That screams Cavs. That screams Cavs like 10 years ago, where they got 3 and 4 years or something stupid like that. And then they had other high picks. But see, they shoot back down to 8 here. Let's see what happens again. They're at 4 here. That'd actually be a good pickup for them. Here they are at 7. So a lot of times they're kind of going to wind up in the 7, they're 7 again. A lot of times they're going to wind up in that range. And this is why 7, 3 times in a row. Wow. This is why a lot of teams are trying to really bottom out right now. They go to 8 this time. So, because again, there's a lot of talent in this draft, and these teams have their picks. And for Dallas specifically, again, they want to bottom out so they have better chances at being one of those top picks. Like all these other teams, they want to do the same thing. But Dallas controls their draft pick this year. Most of the other draft picks, they've got their ones that are step-in restricted, right? But I believe they have swaps on those or things like that. I've got to go back and confirm. But ultimately, this is the one year they really can control their destiny. And so for them, not bringing back a guy like Kyrie to loop it back, and bring back a talented basketball player that may cause you to win a couple games when you don't want to win games, right? That's probably the big incentive here as well. But for Kyrie, this is probably best case situation anyway. Hopefully for him, for Dallas next season, there's multiple ways this all could go. Dallas could hold on to him. They've repeatedly said he's part of their core, but I have a hard time listening to what teams say, because teams say a lot of things and then they'll turn around and still trade a guy because it's all about source wars and they want this out there, but they don't want that out there. I don't know. But if they wanted to try to, potentially, hypothetically, move on from Kyrie. I think maybe they get into the season, play a little bit, show that he's healthy, he's capable, all these things. And then that would be selling him at his absolute best if they wanted to treat him that way, which, again, I'm not sure that they do, but ultimately that is still an option. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about Paolo Banchero a little bit, but Franz Wagner and the the Orlando Magic. We're going to get right into that right here. Don't go anywhere. I wanted to let you know that Sleeper is the #1 best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on games in real time with other users. Get the fastest scores, blazing fast news, and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and explore team picks markets within the app so you can enjoy sports the way they are meant to be enjoyed, which is together. Sign up today using promo code Bulletin and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Team picks are part of Sleeper's regulated activities. They involve risk and outcomes are not guaranteed. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, so Pershams, Orlando Magic forward Franz Wagner will be sidelined indefinitely after recent tests showed that he requires additional time and rehab for soreness in his left high ankle sprain. Sources tell ESPN the Magic will evaluate Wagner's progress in 3 weeks. He missed 25 of the last 29 games since sustaining the high ankle sprain on December 7th. This continues a run of injury woes for the Magic over the last season and this campaign. Orlando's trio of Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Jalen Suggs have played in only 14% of games, equaling 19 of 135. Man, that is brutal. And yes, speaking of brutal, they have been dealing with a just insane run of injuries over the last couple of seasons, as he noted here. And it's unfortunate because this team wants to be good. This team is going out, they're spending the money, the assets, doing what they can to try to be good. And I kind of just wonder if this team will wind up getting broken up before they really get that chance. Certainly it looks like it if they continue dealing with all these injuries to their best players year in and year out. Like, we can't do this, another year in, They pulled off that big trade for Desmond Bane, and that's worked in some regards, but some of these guys have just been hurt, and they've had players underperforming, and it's just been up and down for them when you look at the way this has all gone. And just to kind of highlight something here, Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero have played a total of 58 games together since the start of last season. Yeah, since the start of last season. And what's even worse is the Magic are 29-29 when both guys are available. Wow, that is pretty crazy. I do wonder if Franz got rushed back like that comment was saying. That's certainly a possibility. I mean, look at his production over his last couple of games here. 17 minutes, 20 minutes. It must be on some sort of light minutes restriction, things like that. 26, back in January when he played, things of that nature. But yeah, the shooting hasn't been there. He's obviously not been himself. 5-point game, 14-point game. He's just not been himself. So that could be a thing. But more troubling is that these guys are not able to win even when their main guys are playing. And I think something's going to have to give here for Orlando. And I don't want to spotlight anybody. Not that I don't want to spotlight. I don't want to blame anybody specifically. We are going to spotlight Paolo, but it's not a one-player thing. I think things just don't work. I think the offense isn't creative enough to really maximize using a lot of these guys, and that's certainly on the coach, right? I think there's much more that they can get out of the current roster build than they have, and that's, again, maybe that's just a coaching thing. Maybe things look better, function better after that. Really quick on Orlando. They have a pick this year, but it's tied up in some restrictions and swaps and stuff, so I'm not going to bother dealing with that. But for Orlando, they have the 19th hardest schedule remaining, so there's some opportunities for them to win. They've got a couple games against the Kings, a couple games against Washington, some other easy teams in there. Dallas certainly going to be trying to lose, like I just talked about. Milwaukee, also another team that's most likely going to be trying to lose to get a good pick back this year. A couple games against the Lakers, couple against Cleveland, one against Houston, OKC, 2 against Detroit still remaining. So there's equally some tough games on their ledger as well. But when you look at the standings, they are a unremarkable 28-25. Now, the good news is, I think maybe this top 10, maybe 11 with Chicago sneaking in there would be roughly the playoff picture. So they're not projected to fall out of at least play-in range, right? They're probably going to be in play-in range, and that's going to be where things look like for them. So moving on from there, I wanted to talk about Paolo. And this is a snapshot of Paolo's career thus far, all 4 years, right, that he's played. And long story short, he's been a negative player, regardless. Expected wins are negative. He's only had one positive offensive season. He's had the last couple where he's been like right on the nose, basically being neutral. He's had a big negative offensive season, and his rookie season was his only actual positive season out there. But really more so when you look at the defense, 5th percentile in points per possession while he's out there, 24th percentile this season, 30th. This is a team that's got some good defenders. They just haven't been able to put these things together. I think a lot with Paolo hinges on his shot profile. I don't think he's really refined the shots he likes to take. I don't think he's got there yet. He almost feels like he wants to be mellow, but he's not mellow, right? Like that's just my take on it. And he's certainly not there yet anyway. Not to say he can't be, but he's not there yet. And I think that the efficiency is a big thing with them. But again, I can't not talk about, the defense. Something's happening here. And if we look at this team's lineup performances when he's out there, it's not been remarkable either, right? Overall, he's a minus 2.4 while he's out there. And his best, most used lineup is they're positives in his most used lineups, thankfully, because obviously they're still a positive team. Jalen Suggs, Bane, Anthony Black. But okay, Franz is here too. Man, there's just no possessions on this stuff, though. They're so very sporadic in possessions. 428 with that one. That's fine. They're defending and scoring fine. The Franz one is at 275 possessions with Wendell Carter, Franz, Banchero, things like that. They're scoring fine, defending fine with that group as well. Suggs and Bane. So there's very clearly, and this was never the argument, there's very clearly talent on this roster. I just think multiple things have to happen. One, they've got to get healthy and stay healthy. 14% from your best 3 players is just, or 3 of your 4, whatever you want to do with Bane. That's just criminal, right? And that also brings in last season, right? It's more about big picture last season too. But you've got to get your best guys playing healthy. They've got to get some positive regression in terms of their efficiency and performance. And I think for them, it'd be good, hopefully getting a rhythm going against some of these easier teams. So we'll see what happens with Orlando ultimately. But I do think, again, at the minimum, they're still going to be a play-in team. Can they be a playoff team? We'll see. But at this pace, they're going to wind up finishing similar to how things were last season, which I'm sure they wanted to take a more positive step forward. So we'll see what happens from there. Where do they finish in the conference? Yeah, a 500 team last season. Like, that's kind of where they're on pace to be again. I knew it was something like that. So we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. I'll see you all in the next